we don't need any political action up here. We have the strongest labor laws, maybe some from around the world. And we do everything at the table. And our collective agreements is what drives the future of our members. The politics was much less important. And we kept trying to build on that. And we kept trying to push that. And quite frankly, to sell it. And it didn't take long, and pretty quickly, I think the value of being involved in that arena really started to take hold at every level. Municipal, provincial, and certainly then federal. Because everything that ultimately occurs, in my judgment, and I think it bears out, you can trace back to that political arena. You give me the law, the right, your bargaining structures, your presumption coverages, you just give me a subject, your tax code, anything. Your healthcare system, right here. Everything is ultimately driven out of that political arena. And our choice has been for a long time, and you have now embraced and epitomized this work, and that is that we can't afford to be out of that arena. We've got to be in. And we've got to be in it whether we win or lose, because we actually win by participating. We're actually able to kind of move the ball down the field, sometimes faster than others. And I think it was probably the spark of the Harris government. I shouldn't maybe hone in on one particular moment, but I think that was a moment that signaled across this great country what was at stake and how quick things could change simply by the results of an election. And those that hold, as I always call it, the power and the gold, that really get to make those decisions. And so, you know, we moved forward and created nothing less than an incredible political structure up here. An operation that from every corner of this country and every province that we represent, you really could see the measurable results. I know just in this city, with the work, Mike, of your brother, that we have a mayor now that looks like you can do business with. The results of maybe not your literal political involvement. I'm not sure I don't think you took a position, but the fact of the matter is you positioned yourself to now be the recipient of a relationship that one of our own is not only has a brother that helped to run that successful campaign, but now is going to be one of the first presenters at our initial political training academy. It will take place in about 4 weeks. And I guess, and I don't want to ramble, I've made some notes, you know, I'm not going to read you a speech. I just want to give you my thoughts. I'm going to tell you how I feel, what I see, and what we've got facing us. And I guess my point was to see the enormous advance that has been made here politically. The way you embraced it, built on it, and now with, I guess, more than a dozen legislative conferences behind us, and now beginning to enter into a new phase of preparing our own to really run campaigns, or to hopefully and more importantly be candidate for political office. This first political training academy at the end of the month, 25 applicants will begin another, not only journey, but another structure within this AFFA that I think will over time continue to grow and will blossom, and that work and the results of that work will be of immeasurable importance and value to our members going forward. And when you're looking at that political operation, you know, it is about yesterday's election. Okay, I'm assuming for most of us in here, that's not the outcome that we were looking for. And we're not absolutely sure exactly what is that going to translate into. But I don't know that there was an expectation that that Harper's government would be able to establish a government. And as I was watching the polls and watching the NDP really closing the gap, and Jack Layton certainly getting more than significant notoriety and attention, and trying to understand exactly how the bloc was going to work, shifting over, and does it really shift over. The fact of the matter is we were looking to hopefully, number one, have our own government, or number two, be able to help establish a government that would remain worker-friendly, labor-friendly, and progressive. I say progressive in the sense that it translates into the issues that are important to our members and their families. But, you know, the election results were a little surprising, at least to me. And now we've got a government that we've got two choices. We can, you know, kind of step back and see what is going to transpire, or we got to dive right back in. And we got to, and I know what we're going to do. We're going to dive right back in, and you know, we're going to try to make horseshoes out of horse shit, I guess, is one way to put it, and we'll see how it works out. But the point is, we can't afford to be outside of that arena. We've really got to, you know, be a part, be engaged. I'm glad that we made the decision to postpone the legislative conference. Now we'll reschedule it. We know what we've got to work with. We've got 4 years to deal with this, and we're going to, I know, find a way to make the very best of it. Hopefully this isn't going to translate, and we were speaking this morning. I understand the kind of the conservative fiscal issues, and I certainly think I understand some of the taxing issues, some of the budget issues that are different. I guess the real question is, will this government attempt to take the steps that we have been dealing with in the states since the last midterm election? And that is from corner to corner of the United States, in so many places, nothing less than an absolute assault on the rights of our members and on the ability for our union even to literally exist. That is what we not only are going to be watching how the social agenda here, and the labor agenda works, but how the labor agenda is going to work. Will there be an attack? Will there be a chance for that disease and cancer that's permeated in over a dozen states in the U.S., is that going to leak north beyond the budget and the taxing and the physical issues that the conservative government, the Harper government, will likely reflect? Because I can tell you that this international has now been facing nothing less than, I think, the most significant challenges maybe that we've ever had. And it's tough to say ever, because I haven't lived with the international forever. But I have lived with it for the last 40 years. And I can tell you that I have never witnessed nor experienced the level of attack from every corner, in every way, a concerted, coordinated, organized, very focused, single-purpose effort to simply destroy us. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, all the attention in the press, certainly, and when I say rightfully so, sadly so, you know, initially focused on Wisconsin, a state that's been enjoying collective bargaining Don't let Scott leave thinking that he's tired of listening to me. He's got a flight. He's got to go to the airport. Right? 50 years. 50 years of the strongest bargaining laws, binding arbitration laws, certainly in the United States. And with the result of one election, and a right-wing extremist governor, along with a legislative body that flipped, one of among 20 that flipped. An attack on the very rights that our members have enjoyed for 5 decades. Now, no one could have even conceived that. When we started the beginning of this year, we knew that our hands were going to be full. We knew that what we were really going to be facing was this extraordinary attack on our pension and retirement plans. That was the target. And that had been bubbling up and through over the last 2 years as we've been dealing with the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Nothing less than catastrophic in so many ways. An economy that witnessed 14 million workers lose their jobs. Millions of families literally put on the street, losing their homes to foreclosure. Not because of their irresponsibility, but because of the predatory lending practices of those that simply wanted to find ways to create their instruments to make more and more and more money. To watch a stock market go from 14,000 to 6,500 in a 3-month period, nothing short of the great collapse of 1929. Individual portfolios literally decimated, and our retirement plans and those trusts and those funds crashing along with it, creating extraordinary short-term, I think so, but regardless, extraordinary unfunded liabilities. All of this like the perfect storm.